Hey guys, what's going on? It's DJ TLM. You're watching DJ TLM TV. You might have noticed that last week a couple of videos were missing, and that's because on Thursday and Friday I was out with a bad case of food poisoning. But it's all good now. It's Monday. It's a new week. Time for new videos, and I'm starting with this Q&A right here. And last week I received a couple of questions about reverse crossfader settings, or as turntablists call it, hamster style scratching. So for all the scratch DJs or DJs who are just learning how to scratch, this might be interesting for you. I'm going to illustrate by taking you to my set right there, but just to show you real quick with a mixer right here. That's a mixer. There's the crossfader. Now normally, if the crossfader is that way, you're going to hear that deck. If it's this way, you're going to hear this deck. And when you reverse it, that would mean that if the crossfader is on this side, you hear that deck. And if it's on that side, you hear this deck. Now, that might be a bit confusing. Why would you want to do that? But this is for scratching. It's not really for mixing. I mean, I even know some DJs who mix like that, but that makes no sense to me. But for scratching, I understand where it comes from. Because if you look at the basic scratches, a lot of basic scratches start with your crossfader in a closed position, and then you open it when you begin your scratch, when you do your scratch. With some of the more advanced scratches, like a flare scratch, for instance, you start with your crossfader open, and it's all about closing it when you start your scratch. So it's a different feeling, and for some DJs, that feels more natural when the crossfader is reversed. And I definitely understand where that comes from, because with that scratch, I could feel it, that in the beginning, it felt easier when it was in reverse. But I decided to stick with the normal style because I did not want to do all my other scratches with the reverse crossfader setting. I just didn't like the feeling. It didn't feel natural to me, but that's why they do it. So you have to decide for yourself by trying it out, especially with the more advanced scratches, if it feels better for you. Because what a lot of DJs do, they will have their crossfader normal when they're mixing, and when it's time to do some scratches, they will just switch to hamster style and do their scratches. Because back in the days, you didn't have that setting on mixers, and now most mixers will just have a little button that says reverse, so you can switch it. Or on the Pioneer mixes in the club, you can dedicate each channel to a side of the crossfader, so it's very easy to pick it, do it in normal, or set it as reverse. And back in the days before they had that, they had to just switch the turntables in reverse, put the right deck in the left side, left deck in the right side to reach that same effect. But that's what it does. I'll show you real quick on the set right now. All right, guys, so here's my mixer, and right now it's in a normal setting that I always use. So with the Pioneer, you can assign your channels to a certain side of the fader, or don't assign it to the crossfader at all. I'm using the two middle channels right now, so my right channel goes to the right side of the crossfader, and my left channel goes to the left side of the crossfader. So to the right, I can hear that one, and now I can't. Same on the other side. If it's to the left, I can hear my left turntable, and now I can't. And with a lot of the normal scratches, you start in that closed position, and you open it to hear the sound. Or on that side. So I was used to that. But then came, for instance, the flare scratch. And like I explained with the flare scratch, you don't start with the fader closed. So you have to start with the fader open and move the record and then close it, open it, close it, open it. So it's a different movement if you're used to starting in that position. Now, it worked okay for me on the right side with my left hand on the fader. I can do that one-click flare or the two-click flare. It will work, but I'm not ambidextrous, and I can't do every scratch on both sides. I don't have the same feeling in both hands, so where my right hand is actually the fader hand, that hand is not good for every scratch because it works fine for transform scratches and normal cuts when I have the fader closed and I just open it by clicking it. I can do all sorts of things, but when it came to that flare scratch and I had to start in the open position and not click it that way, but move it that way to close it, that's not happening. That's not working right now. Now, I can't get it to work if I do this for like 3, 4, 5 minutes in a row. Then the feeling starts to come back and I can do it for a while. but that's not going to help me out when I'm doing a scratch session. So I still have to practice that like crazy. But because my hand is so used to moving in that position, if I reverse it now, and right now I reversed this, so now this is closed and that side is open. Now it means that in order to start open and close it, I go that way. And that's the movement I'm used to. So now, where is it? There it is. All of a sudden, I can do, for instance, that 2-click flare because now I can do the movement the way I was used to it. So in this case, having it in reverse could actually help me out. But if you want to go back to your normal transform, that's not going to work in reverse because now it's in the opposite direction and I'd have to switch it back. I don't want to go to that trouble, so I just keep it in normal and I'll have to practice that flare scratch until I get it right in the normal setting. So I hope that explains it. So that's all I really wanted to show you and tell you about the reverse crossfader setting, the hamster style. If you want to know more about scratching, if you had no idea what this video was about, go check out my scratch tutorial series. It might definitely help you out. I start at the basics and move on up to more advanced scratches. So I hope this video helps you out. If you had any questions about this, make sure you click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And if you have any questions or if you have a request for a certain video, you can always send me that email, djtlmtv@djtlm.com, and I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, before I go, don't forget you have 2 weeks left, 2 weeks left to send in your video for the Saturday Super Session. And I'm receiving a lot of videos already. Last time we had 19 DJs from 10 countries, and I already have more than 22 DJs now. We're only 1 week in. So 2 weeks left for the Saturday Super Session. So if you want to join, make that video and send it to me straight away. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace.